Hey, Garage Logic fans, I do a podcast on the Garage Logic Network that comes out every Wednesday and Friday now, twice a week. But here's an important caveat. There is zero logic available in my show, in the formal definition of logic. Of course, life is a yin and yang kind of thing. There's the logic side, and then there's the what the hell side, which needs to get its exercise. So come for the what the hell and stay for the you've got to be kidding me. Mishki, now Wednesdays and Fridays, twice a week.
Oh, my son.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1680, December 15th, 2025. 58 degrees was the record high on this day. That was just a few years ago. 2021, when people were stealing money as fast as they could. And it was 21 below on this day in 1901. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
We have a visitor from Nashville in the studio, Mr. Jeff Dayton, who is just as at home in Minnesota as he is in Nashville. You were here during the coldest weekend of the year thus far.
Well, it's a record, I guess.
And where were you, Long Lake last night?
Yeah, played a great gig at Birches on the Lake.
Packed?
Yeah, packed.
And you're leaving town this week, and there's rumor, we're discussing it off air, that you might very well be in Anguilla, where we're number one this weekend.
I have my T-shirt pressed and ready.
All right. I want to say this. I got this from Steve Mulholland, who lives in the belly of the beast. This is good news for all of us. Just a friendly reminder for you and all the esteemed members of the Royal Order of the 21sters. Today, Monday, December 15th, the sun will set at 4:32 p.m. in Gumption County, breaking a string of 9 consecutive 4:31 p.m. sunsets, which were the earliest sunsets of the calendar year. I hope you'll enjoy this celestial milestone, watching Old Sol slowly descend in the western skies across Spoon Lake from the comfortable confines of the GL Boathouse, leaving behind 1 minute of added evening light. Behold, 21sters, spring is at hand. That's true. This is today's 4:32 p.m. It's getting lighter. It's getting lighter.
That's a huge mental stump to get over.
Jeff, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Joe?
Good. You just, I suppose you come home, visit family members?
Yeah, I just got homesick. And, I realized I hadn't been up here since we hung out at the State Fair. And I just missed Minnesota, so I grabbed a week and I said, I'm going to Minnesota. And then all this stuff started popping up.
Did you bring a guitar?
I did.
Is it with you right now?
It's nearby.
You don't have to get it right now. Just settle down.
He's demanding, isn't he, Jeff? Demanding, isn't he?
I want to be ready in case you say come.
I know.
I'm not your dancing bear.
Yeah.
But Nashville winters, I'm not sure I'd enjoy those. Aren't they a little soupy and gray? And
Can be. Yeah, in fact, I think we went down to 14 there last night.
Well, that's no fun. If you're going to have winter, have winter. But I suppose you also get a 65-degree day once in a while.
We do. In fact, it'll probably be in the 50s a couple of days this week.
So the golf courses close in Nashville over the winter.
You know, I haven't checked it out. I think they hit the ball no matter what time of year it is.
I bet they could.
Yeah, they get that green ball or whatever color it is.
Yeah. Well, you're going to join us. We're going to do kind of a hybrid of the regular show, and then hopefully have a tune or two from you. Is that all right with you?
I'd be honored.
That's all right with you?
Yeah.
We're only beginning to realize that. Now you're aware of the trouble the state of Minnesota is in.
I hear news. I've been hearing some things.
It's the fraud capital of the world. But thankfully, our Governor Cockwomble, also known as Elmer Fraud, also known as Throttlebottom, also known as Tim Walz.
Wait a minute. I hadn't heard Throttle bottom?
Got an email today from a guy who says, try throttle bottom. Look it up.
What does that mean?
Look it up. Means an incompetent moron just like Cockwomble.
Oh, okay.
You know.
All right.
That's pirate language there.
Yes.
It is. It is. You're right.
Tim,
Throttle bottom.
Tim, in honor of your arrival from Tennessee, Walls a few days ago announced that a guy named Tim O'Malley will become Director of Program Integrity. Now, nothing against O'Malley. I'm sure he's a fine fellow. He's got a lot of experience, FBI, Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. He's the right guy. He's just 5 years too late. This is all disingenuous on Wall's part. He is still trying to save his own hide by pretending that he actually gives a bleep about any of this. There's reasonable information to suggest he knew quite a bit about it and let it continue. But in any event, now, trying to run again for a third term, he is acting as though he's on top of it, and he's hired a guy. It's way too late. He should have done this 5 years ago. We also learn, I did not know this, but there's a guy named Jim. Let me get it for you. There's a Republican running against Omar in Congressional District 5, and his name is Jim Nagel. And he has alerted, well, he didn't alert me, he alerted Fox News to the idea that Omar was the one who introduced on March 11th, 2020, House Resolution 6187, which was called the Meals Act. And I'm only beginning to know this minute. We haven't done our homework. We'll have more on it this week. The bill modifies food and nutrition programs of the Department of Agriculture to allow certain waivers to requirements for the school meal programs, including waivers that increase federal costs during a school closure related to COVID-19. And I don't know anything yet, but I'm wondering if from this was born the Feeding Our Future scandal. I don't know yet, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I wonder if he's related to the billboard sign Nagley's.
No.
No?
Well, I say no. I'm just guessing.
Thank you for asking what I've been wondering for a long time.
I think it's spelled different. This is Nagel.
Oh,
That's
Okay.
Nagel. That's Nagel.
Yeah, that would be Nagley. Yeah.
The signboard people, the people that
extra
own
E.
With
the
the E at
wild
the end, yeah.
is Nagle.
Correct.
Right. Wasn't there a Nagley involved in owning the
Bob.
wild? Bob, yeah. So that's breaking news. Jeff, quite exciting if you ask me, because I think there is so much to be mined with Ilhan Omar's involvement in the scandal. And you're going to have to rely on this show to do it. Alpha News and the American Experiment, the Star Tribune, is covering for Walls and for the fraudsters to a certain degree. And it's a disappointment that the press is not digging into Ilhan Omar's involvement in many things, including her net worth. Her marriage seems to be back in the news. I've always said I don't know anything about that, and I continue to not know anything about that. I really don't even want to know anything about that, except if it's fraudulent. She may very well be here under false pretenses. I don't know.
Well, my grandmother always said, I don't know, I wasn't under the bed.
Turns out your grandmother had a lot of these homespunners, didn't she?
She was just plain old smart. You know, she was ahead of her time. She flew with Lindbergh in the Spirit of St. Louis.
What? Come on.
No, really.
To where?
In the same plane?
In the plane. He came to St. Paul. He was making a publicity tour. You know, he was a local guy.
Was this post-trip to France?
Yes, that was why he was famous at that point.
Oh, I see.
And so he came to St. Paul and met with the bigwigs of all the businesses here. And she offered to all these big guys, who wants to go ride up in the plane? And they were like, no way. She goes, I'll go. And so she hopped in the right seat, and away they went.
That is
Well, what
cool
the
as
hell? Is there photographic evidence?
Well, do I need
It's not that I
Come
don't
on, Jeff.
believe you, but wouldn't that be neat?
It's
We'd
in my
post it.
guitar case. I don't know. I left it somewhere.
You know what they say on the internet? Photos are it's not true.
Oh boy.
Well, Jeff, I wonder where they flew over. Just did a loop around the Twin Cities?
Probably like a joyride you would get on a hot air balloon at a festival or something.
Cool.
But to say that is pretty cool.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah,
What about her husband, your grandfather?
George Conroy.
Well, they didn't run away together. They just took a plane ride.
No, I wonder if the grandfather took the plane trip.
Well, it was before she married him. She was only about 17 or 18 at the time.
What was her name?
Erna Conroy. She was Erna Sharp in St. Paul. They lived on Goodrich, 662 Goodrich, and her folks bought that house in 1920. It's the only triple lot house, I think, along Goodrich there.
I have 3 walking routes. One of them, I walk by that house.
Okay.
Going to the Zillow.
Yep. And
662 Goodrich.
Yep, and it's 3 lots, and my great-grandfather was the guy that bought it. He also bought 60 plots for us over at Oakland Cemetery. So there's
you're in no hurry for those.
No, I plan on being around.
Oh, that's a nice house, Jeff.
You like
I
that?
know the house
Yeah.
well.
Oh, yeah.
I love that porch.
So that's
I'd
where your
spend all
grandma
summer.
was a kid.
That's where she grew up, yeah.
What school did she go to?
Summit School. Or, yes, good.
So this-
Yeah, St. Paul Academy, the Summit School.
Now, and her name was Sharp at that point.
Yep, and then she married Dave Courtney, and that was a short marriage. And he was the owner of Morgantown Glassworks, he and his brother, in West Virginia, in Morgantown, West Virginia.
Now, I have a feeling you're a font of St. Paul history.
I love St. Paul history.
Okay, now what did Sharp do for a living?
Fred Sharp worked for the St. Paul. He was a butter and egg man. And,
he peddled butter and eggs.
Yeah. And
Which
he
at the time would have been a big, big deal because that was a basic staple of life.
It was the R.E. Cobb Company.
Did they have a warehouse downtown, probably?
Probably.
The hatchery.
Well,
A lot of eggs there, too.
yeah.
But he married, and then they had 5 kids, and my grandmother was the second oldest. And her dad said, if only you were a boy, because you were really ahead of your time.
Wow.
Yeah, she stole gosh, what was the car? The big car that they had. And she didn't realize that the manholes were on this unfinished road were sticking up higher.
Uh-oh.
And she tore the undercarriage off the car. And it was the and my grandfather or my great grandfather said, that's okay, nobody plans an accident.
Yeah.
And so she was forgiven. And then my grandfather, after she was married,
What was his name?
His name was George Conroy.
A
A lot of St. Paul in that because
Okay,
they
what
owned,
did Conroy's do? He was in the Morgantown, West Virginia?
No, Courtney was in Morgantown.
Who's Courtney?
My actual grandfather.
That was the first marriage that was very short.
It was a short marriage, and my mom was born of that marriage. And then Pop Conroy, we called him Pop. They owned George Conroy's restaurant across from 3M and Sunray over there on Old Highway 12.
Yes.
And they had that successfully, and then Pop died suddenly in 1963, but he's in the Minnesota Hockey Hall of Fame as a hockey player at St. Thomas. And his brother, Tony Conroy, Anthony Conroy, was a member of the initial U.S. Olympic hockey team in 1920 that went to the Olympics, and they were beaten only by Canada in the final game. But in the semifinal, they beat Switzerland 28-0.
Wow.
Holy crap.
And he is in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, born in
What the
1895 in
hell?
St. Paul, died in St. Paul in 78.
There you
Ice
go.
hockey at the 1920 Summer Olympics.
So your mom's name was what?
She was Patty Sharp Conroy.
Patty Sharp Conroy.
And
was
then-
she close to her mom?
Very close.
She in the flyer with
Erna was her name.
Erna flew with
Lindbergh.
Lindbergh, but your mom and Erna were close. They were
Very.
buddies all their life.
And then Erna was a huge influence in my life because, and then after Pop died in the 60s, she became the general manager of the University Club at the top of the hill there. And I worked for the summers for her over there. I was a maintenance assistant, kind of like Gabe is over here, maintenance assistant.
Yes.
And then I was the chef, and I ran the pool shack down there. And then I was a lifeguard my final summer there. And they just
where were you
What the
living
hell?
then? Were you living with your grandparents?
in Delwood, and she was the mayor of Delwood.
Erna.
And she was 3-term mayor of Delwood. In fact, the Parade magazine, I think that Sunday insert.
Yes, St. Paul used to have that.
Yeah, they had ran a story in the 60s called the Lady Mayors of Minnesota, and she was one of only 4.
Where in Delwood did you live?
Well, she got to name the road. So it's Quail Road. And she named
You're
it.
talking about my childhood here because quail, we would traipse up quail, and you could catch one of the hills of the Yacht Club golf course and go sledding.
And she got to number her own house, so she picked 358, which were her favorite numbers. And there is a house at 358 Quail Road.
So back to Ilhan Omar.
On one buying trip to New York City, Erna sat in on a roundtable discussion with Dorothy Parker and such literary notables as F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, and William Faulkner.
Wow.
Oh, at the Algonquin, probably. Huh?
Probably.
Thank you. You've got that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're such a good newsman.
There's just a whole bunch of information here.
Well, I feel very proud of my St. Paul roots. And,
Well, how come your name isn't Jeff Conroy?
Because my mom, Patty, married George Dayton.
Patty married George Dayton.
And that was the Minneapolis side of the family. And on the Dayton side, if you want to go deep into my history,
I do.
My great-grandfather on my dad's side was Newton Horace Winchell. And he was the state geologist for Minnesota in the 1800s.
Oh, my God. What the hell with Ilhan Omar?
He was the guy who did this geological surveys of much of Minnesota, including the Iron Range. He coined the word taconite because of its similarities in strata to the Taconic Mountains and the Taconic Indian tribes in upstate New York. And he was with an army escort mapping the Dakotas, especially, I think, North Dakota. And he had finished his work, and to get back to the Twin Cities in the 1870s, he required a military escort because it was kind of tough times back then. And he said, General Custer, my work here is done. And he went back, and Custer didn't.
Oh, for
Yeah,
Pete's
right.
sake.
Custer stayed. A little more permanent for him.
That would be John, help me, Fort Abe Lincoln?
Fort Lincoln, sure, in Mandan.
Yeah.
And it was just right there where the, little big.
Your
little
mom's
big
name was Patty.
Patty.
Patty married George Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
Did Patty maintain the restaurant?
No, the restaurant, George Conroy, was sold to the Knights group, and they called it Knights after that.
So Patty, upon marrying George Dayton, as in the Daytons we all know, the clothers, the dry goods emporium, Patty married George Dayton, and then Patty's St. Paul life was over and became a Minneapolis life?
We lived, we were AC/DC.
Yeah.
We were good.
All over.
Yeah. And we loved, I still drive through St. Paul, drive down Summit, and I think, gosh, if I could just bump into that money tree.
Yeah.
And I was down on Gasparilla Island just a week ago, Monday and Tuesday.
That's off Fort Myers area.
Yeah, it's where Boca Grande is.
Yeah.
And a lot of Twin Cities people there. And it's just great. And my grandmother's friends, including Stan Donnelly, who's an old name in St. Paul.
Boy, I know that name.
And they were from Delwood, and also Peter and Tootie Folliott. And she was the youngest grandchild of James J. Hill. Are we ready? Joe, I just didn't know you didn't know. I thought you knew.
Well, you have talked circles around us. We have our own geologist. She has weighed in and said, your guy, how is he again? Your great-grandpa?
He's a grandfather on my dad's side, yeah. Really great guy.
He's created many maps and publications and is well known in the geology field.
And his name was Winchell.
His name is Newton Horace Winchell, and the Winchell Library used to be housed at Pillsbury Hall. Mm-hmm. But I am the only Winchell donor. I'm Jeffrey Winchell Dayton, by the way.
For Christ's sake.
I didn't know I was...
I'll be dipped.
What's coming up on the ride?
Can we cut to commercial here? What's up? Thank you, Joe. And, he also... his library is now part of a greater... part of the, it's been moved. It's really kind of old news to the U, but the department was the Winchell School of Earth Sciences, and I donated the Winchell genealogy book to the U last month.
Such.
Yeah.
I propose that we put up a new building in Garage Logic called the Jeff Dayton Museum, where all of this is housed.
Yeah.
I left the show
amazing.
about 7 minutes later. I've been down the Dayton rabbit hole here for...
I'm looking at two of your ancestral homes, your mom's place and the place on Goodrich.
But were you a loose cannon as a kid?
Oh, sure. I mean, I grew up in the 50s and 60s.
Right.
And, I loved to play hockey.
Yeah. Did you play for any high school?
I swam. When I got to high school, I was a swimmer at Blake.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was a champion swimmer. My dad, George Dayton, was at Princeton, and he was picked for the Olympic team in 52.
Yeah.
in
Is
Helsinki.
George your biological dad?
Yes, he is. Was, yeah.
So what role did he have with the Dayton's store?
Well, it's interesting because there was a deal cut when my great-great-grandfather was George Draper Dayton, and he had two boys, Nelson and Draper.
Mm-hmm.
And those two cut a deal that whoever survived would get the store.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it worked out. And my great-grandfather passed away at age 43 playing golf at Minnetonka.
Really?
And so Nelson Dayton and his five sons, Wally, Bruce, Doug, Don, and Kenny, became the five brothers that took it to fame and developed Target and did all the great stuff with Marshall Fields and merged with Hudson's. And, they're the guys. And my grandfather he had a token position as an executive vice president, but retired from that in 1970, I think. And in about 71, he was the honorary consul to the Republic of Korea. So my dad got assigned a job.
George is your dad.
My dad, George III. They were going to call me George IV. But my grandmother, Erna, protested and said, if you call him that, I'm going to call him Ivy. And he was working at Southdale when that opened at 56, but he did not like being a salesman. He didn't like selling garden hose at the outdoor store. So he just kind of bolted. He loved music and the beach, and that's why that song of mine, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I just love the beach. It's why I want to go to Anguilla,
So would he be the main musical influence in your family? Where did the music come from within your family?
I think both sides, my dad and my mom. And my mom played piano and sang these old songs like, Sweetheart of Sigmund Kai. And they would call it the Sweetheart of Six Other Guys. Yeah, they loved to change the lyrics. And I was raised in a home that, people did parodies. Lyric writing was not a foreign subject at all. So, and Mom played piano and taught me to sing and taught me to play guitar by just singing me the melody and then saying figure out the chords.
And that's Patty.
Yeah.
And were there music days or sing-alongs at birthdays and Christmas and other holidays when you all gathered?
Well, anytime they had a dinner party, Mom would say, well, Jeff, go get your Joe. That's what she called the banjo. Sure, my git, what do they call it? Git fiddle, gut bucket. And then I was expected to entertain. I was sort of like the circus monkey.
I know the feeling.
You have brothers and sisters?
I do. We got a big family. Yeah.
What are they up to?
Everybody's up to something. My sister Tricia lives in Plymouth. My brother Ralph, sadly, he passed already. And sister Grace lives in Colorado. And brother Tony lives in Mound. And I think he likes your show.
Good.
Yeah.
Tony?
Do any of them play music?
Not really. Not really. But I have a daughter, Carrie, who's living in Los Angeles, and she absolutely loves to sing. But she never followed that. She's a YouTuber now, very successful one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how can we see her?
She's on Instagram and YouTube, right?
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Her name's Carrie Dayton.
Carrie, Carrie.
Yep.
Carrie Dayton on YouTube.
Yeah, she's there. And she's got a vlog, and she's got a fashion channel, all the usual commercial stuff. She's going to probably say, Dad, why did you talk about me?
Yeah. Well, no, not if she's looking for hits, she won't.
Well, she's doing really well. I mean, she lived in Beverly Hills for a while. She's doing well.
Really?
And
Joe?
it's Dayton Carey is her Instagram handle.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
459,000 subscribers.
You guys, I'm not going to drop a single clue for you, and you're going to find it all for me. I love this. Look at these.
So, Carrie, could you retweet the GL podcast?
She
we
only
could use some help, Carrie.
Right. She only has a measly 102,000 followers on Instagram.
Hey, Carrie, how about a little something, for the effort?
Well, there is a song that we wrote together called One Day that's on an earlier record. You can find it on my Spotify.
I see when you came in, you gave me a new record.
I did.
Songs from the Walnut Room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Rudy Boschwitz, right?
No, it's What does he have to do with it? Walnut ain't plywood.
Well, look at the back of the album there. See that aged brown sort of?
Yeah, it looks like walnut to me.
That's the walnut room. It's plywood paneling.
I ran into Rudy at the airport about 2 months ago.
Did you?
And his bride.
Isn't he about 109?
He wasn't moving real fast, but he was moving.
Wow.
Do you have a garage in Tennessee?
I have a carport.
Not a garage?
I am. You guys already know what
You're terrible
my
cylinder index.
My cylinder index is a 6.
That's pathetic.
Oh, Jeff.
It's just shameful.
I know. And I come asking for penance.
And he thinks about that every time he's sitting on the beach having a cold one. Oh, I only had 6 months sitting on the beach.
Anguilla on Friday.
Yeah, right.
That's my
Jeff, just ask them to play a C major 7 chord and tell them to shut up.
I'll bet you can't do this.
There you go.
That's about all I can
There you
do.
go.
Is that a C7 major?
C major 7.
C.
It's obvious.
C major something there? Yeah.
Well,
if you had a garage door, these people wouldn't help you anyway because they're only here. It's Precision Door Minnesota, but they're the best. Precision Door Minnesota. If you need a new door right now, call Precision Door. They have models for every. In fact, they might be in Nashville. But Precision Door takes care of Minnesotans around here in western Wisconsin. If you need a new door, $100 off now. A single door for GLers, $200 off. A double door. If you like your current door, but you're a little worried she's not going to make it through the winter season because she's acting up and making all kinds of weird noises, book a Precision Door noisy door tune-up special for $149. That's regularly a $299 value. Get the door checked out so you avoid troubles this winter.
Joe.
Yes.
Precision Garage Door Service of Nashville.
Really?
They do have one.
All right,
so they
wonderful.
Must be a franchise.
Well, it
That's
doesn't help
fantastic.
him in. He's got a lousy carport.
Well, we'll work on that.
Book online at precisiondoormn.com or call Precision Door at 612-263-6985 to schedule your free on-site new door estimate or book a noisy door tune-up special with Precision Door.
Football season is rolling along, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. It's so easy to play on Underdog. All you have to do is pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, touchdowns, and lots more. You get your picks right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I'm going to go with Micah Parsons to go higher than 1 sack. He's been very good for me the past few weeks. Download the app today and use promo code GARAGE to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code GARAGE. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Better than any white man alive. Muhammad Ali.
Not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Sitting around the local Knack Hardware this morning, heard a story. It was one of those friend of a friend deals. His newish fancy green tractor parked in an unheated machine shed with the block heater plugged in and a battery tender on it wouldn't start over the weekend. The glow plug made no difference. This guy had to feed his cattle, so, it just as a last resort, he slogged through the snow to that old International, not plugged in, gas, not diesel, with who knows how old the battery was. And that thing jumped to life instantly, and those ungrateful cattle got fed. Did I tell you it was 20 below at the time? Did I tell you he frequently feeds that old red beast big, heavy shots of seafoam? Of course, none of this comes as a surprise to those of us that use seafoam on the regular. Among its many benefits is that it preserves ignition vapors, making starting a lot easier. even when it's a tad bit nippy outside. And it's good for gas and diesel, single one-lungers or big V8s, doesn't matter, two-stroke or straight petrol, doesn't matter. What your cylinder situation is really doesn't matter. Just make sure to feed them Seafoam, especially now during winter. A wonderful product in a world of bad gas. Seafoam.
I can't let this pass because it's so odd. John, would you read our president's tweet regarding the death of Rob Reiner and his wife?
Yeah, it starts. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy, capital letters, by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace.
The guy is taking credit for the death of Rob Reiner and his wife. That's a new one. That's a new one.
That's pretty messed up.
First of all, I don't know why Reiner. I don't know. They have arrested his kid, and we don't know what happened. Yeah. But Trump is taking credit for the fact that Trump derangement syndrome caused Reiner's death. That's a new one to me.
In September, there was a quote, I think Rob was on CNN.
Rob Reiner's a screaming lefty.
He was on a show, and he said, he was critical of Trump, and he said, you might not ever see me again.
I don't know what that
After
means.
Making that quote, 'cause he was ripping Trump, implying that President Trump's going to take him out.
No.
Well, they did say it was a murder.
No, I know that. Both the wife and Rob Reiner were found brutally murdered. But I'm in shock. I mean, just when you think you've seen it all from Trump, he's taking credit for his death. It's unbelievable. I don't know where to go with that.
Jeff, your thoughts?
Yeah. Jeff likes to play music. He doesn't want to talk
Well,
about
I
it.
said I couldn't let the show go without it.
Joe, the way it was worded, though, it sounds like that was a press release that somebody wrote for him.
Oh, no, I bet he wrote it himself.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like his writing.
Oh, it does to me. Well, he's a sore winner, I know that, but holy mackerel.
Never heard that one before.
Oh, that's a good song for you, Sore Winner.
Yeah.
Well, do something for us to get us out of this dreadful mood.
Well, all right. How about
I'm going to be your dancing bear.
Yeah. Come on, it's your fault.
I'm getting tired of getting kicked around.
Me too.
Out in the rain in this lonely town. I saved this just for you guys.
Yeah.
Been so long since I had a friend. Well, maybe, baby, you could take me in. I've got a heart like a dog, just wants to be loved. A little affection is more than enough. You're gonna love it when we cuddle up. I've got a heart like a dog. I've got a heart like a dog. I'll take you on long walks whenever you like. Keep your feet warm on the coldest of nights. Wake you up early with a good morning kiss. And bring you your socks all covered with spit. I've got a heart like a dog, just wants to be loved. A little affection is more than enough. You're gonna love it when we cuddle up. I've got a heart like a dog. You know what I mean?
I think I do.
I've got a heart like a dog. We really mean it. I hope you don't mind when I beg. I hope you kinda like it when I hug your leg. You'll never have to worry how much I drink. You're gonna be proud when you hear me sing. Come on, boys, sing now. Joseph is Yeah, I've got a heart like a dog. I got a heart like a singing monkey. I've got a heart like a dog.
The best part is when you watch Matthew, the nose goes straight up in the air like Snoopy. When
Like he's a
Snoopy,
dog.
Yes, like when Snoopy
I'm in
is
character,
singing.
man. I'm not walking on all fours.
How would you describe the niche you've cut out for yourself in the music business?
I'm probably the guy that's just going to do me until the day I'm gone, because there's no rush to my door to sign me for a record deal.
Have you tried to get a record deal?
I'm not the demographic. Let's look at it. And I don't throw chairs off of rooftops. I'm sorry I said that. And I don't, guzzle a lug and chug a lug with, and do body shots, with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You don't have any neck tattoos.
I don't. In fact, I don't have gold teeth, And times are changing, and they asked, Vince Gill one time what he thought of today's music, and he said, well, it's not my cup of tea, but I wasn't Hank Williams' cup of tea either.
Right.
And so I cut a path that's my own, and I've realized that that's the value of who I am. Never been before, never will be again. And I love writing songs with real people in them, and I love telling, heartwarming stories, and I love, a little silly tribute to being single. And,
Is there a satellite station, John Heidt might know this, that's just strictly Kenny Chesney? Is that who I'm thinking of?
He's got his own. There's one named after him.
Well, you're an audio separated at birth from him. Is that a compliment, or am I saying something wrong?
I'm fine with that. I mean,
when I listen to that station, I'm hearing your voice.
Man, thank you.
Go on a show.
I have a lot of songs that I wish, just wish somebody would pick up of and take them to Kenny. This is off the new record. I'll just play a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Up on the bow, the world feels better somehow. Getting some sun on my face, leaving my worries in the wake. All I know for sure is we're never gonna figure it out. That's okay, it's just for today. I'm up on the bow, up on the bow. I've been thinking I really ought to thank her, 'cause I never realized there's two kinds of anchors. Some will hold you steady, some just hold you down. Well, that's all way behind me, and I'm riding easy now. Up on the bow, the world feels better somehow. Getting some sun on my face and leaving my worries in the way. All I know for sure is we're never gonna figure it out. That's okay, it's just for today. I'm up on the bow, heading to Anguilla on Friday, I hope. And checking in with Joe.
Would your career be different if Glenn Campbell was alive?
I don't know. I mean, my career is what it is because of Glenn Campbell.
You were his band director.
Yeah, but I mean, Glenn put me in situations that nobody would get without being with Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he introduced me to people. I remember we were doing Hee Haw, and he said, Jeff, come on over here. It was just Glenn and me and the Hee Haw band. And he goes, Jeff, this is Roger Miller. Roger, this is Jeff Dayton. And he goes, Jeff Dayton, summer when the sun goes down. Started singing me one of my songs.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I still get hair rises. They call it chicken skin in Hawaii.
Wow.
And those are gifts of a guy like Glenn. And he did that. He called my name in the Sioux Falls concert twice. And every time that somebody watches it, they say, "Oh, you were with Glenn Campbell. I saw you. He said your name. Oh my God!"
Yeah, you had hair then.
I did. Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for noticing.
Well, I did too at that time.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, as my friend Tony would say. And, I get to be me, and I've settled into realizing that that's pretty all right.
But you know everybody in the scene in Nashville.
And, well, these days it's changing because
Is it?
there's a new guard, there's a new sheriff in town, and he brought his friends. But,
Some of whom throw tables off of rooftops.
well, I don't know. I mean, I don't. People say, "Oh, do you play downtown?" I said, no, not. In fact, I don't usually go down there unless somebody's playing there that's a friend, and then I'll Uber in. But it's real crowded, and it's they're printing money.
I made reference to this a week ago, Jeff, and Johnny Heidt actually posted this on social media about just the difference between lyrics and music. And one was from Johnny, help me here. I know it was Jason Isbell.
The one that is not my songwriter was a picture of Morgan Wallen.
Thank you.
With one of his lyrics. And then the one that is my songwriter was Jason Isbell with one of his lyrics.
And what struck me was we really are catering to the low-hanging fruit in terms of music. And that's why I fear what AI is going to do to the industry going forward.
That is a hot button topic there, Reeves.
What is your view of that?
Well, Kenny and I talked about it on the Krabby Cafe.
Yeah, you can tell he doesn't listen to the Krabby Coffee Shop, can't you, Jeff? He has no idea.
I think that's a better name
I
for it.
listened to a show called the Krabby Cafe, but I never heard this discussion. I must have missed the Krabby Coffee Shop.
I'll have pie to go with that size 12 shoe in my mouth.
No, everything's cool. Everything's cool. Tell him everything you told me in 30 seconds, Jeff. Go ahead.
It's
3, 2, 1,
terrifying,
go.
and it's terrifying, and it's beautiful. It's amazing, and it's frightening. It is a challenge, and it's a gift to mankind, and it's going to be somewhere in between. It's going to only get better faster. It's exponentially growing. Now they've got Tilly Norwood, the actress that is totally fake. It's kind of like an Anne Hathaway girl next door character. And the Actors Union are pushing back. Musicians are throwing their hands in the air. Publishers are going, what the heck? Warner Brothers pulled out of their group, class action suit against Suno, which is the company that does a lot of the music videos, and said, or the music tracks, and said, now you can license Warner Brothers artists to go on your demo, so you can have Blake Shelton. It's just out of hand, and I don't know where it's going to land.
Well, how do you mean it's a gift to mankind?
Well, I'm just saying,
how can it be?
It could be that, and it could be the detriment forever. It could be that when you turn on YouTube and you start noticing how many of these videos are fake, or they have an AI announcer who can't even pronunciate the situation.
Right. Pronunciate.
Yeah, and they.
What's the same with Twitter or X? It's all fake.
A lot of it is. A lot of it is staged, and again, it's clickbait. It's it's what do they call that? Rage bait sometimes.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, Joe, here's what I do know. And I raised my hand to this last night, and the place went crazy. They cannot replace us, the musician with a guitar and a story to tell.
Right.
And I just, live music is never going to end up in AI unless they, suddenly Tilly Norwood is out singing gigs, but it ain't going to happen.
How do you get booked? Do you have an agent?
I have to scratch the ground.
You do it.
I do it, just like, I'm out there with the chickens.
But you're always busy.
Well, I try real hard. My legs are moving. It's like the duck. I look good on top, but my legs are...
Do you call Long Lake and say, I'd like to play, and they go, you're more than welcome?
I do.
That's how that happens?
Yeah. Yeah, but
I'll be in town such and such a date. Do you have any room for me? Is that how that happens?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got, in fact, in April for my birthday weekend, I'll be at Crooners on April 3rd with my pal Sam Ryden from Northfield. And April 4th, I'll be at the 318 Cafe in Excelsior.
We're going to Crooners tonight, right, Johnny?
Well, I am. Are you?
Oh, yeah. I'm staying at your house.
At Crooners tonight, a guy named Pat Donahue is playing.
Oh, Pat's the guy from Prairie Home.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was just here.
Yes.
In fact, Kat out front told me that he was just here and he was from Prairie Home.
Have you ever played with him?
No, I haven't.
Do you know Tim Sparks at all? He's with him tonight.
I don't. I do know Tom Lieberman. I met him, and we're going to have a podcast with him. Joe, you're responsible for my podcast happening.
Okay.
You're the one that said, "Oh my God, yes."
I've got some things to say about that too.
Did you get a consultant fee?
No.
How we
That's all
doing
right.
for
Well,
time,
I haven't
Chris?
made enough to pay him
We're
anything.
fine.
That's a podcast.
So
Then
I
you have
wanna-
an official podcast.
I really want to promote this podcast because since Jeff was on the Krabby Coffee Shop, I've really done a deep dive on his podcast, Joe. And the first interview I listened to was with a guy named Kevin Odegaard. Do you happen to know who Kevin Odegaard is?
Why is that name ringing a
fan.
bell?
It's the story. Kevin's story is the opposite of what's happening now with AI. Jeff, can you just give us a quick background on Kevin's fame?
Well, I'd like to hear you do it.
So, Dylan's recording Blood on the Tracks. Things are not going well. Comes home to Minnesota, looks up Kevin. Talks to his brother. Yeah, you have to correct me along the way, Jeff, because I get these
Oh, you're
stories
getting it
wrong
right.
all the
You're
time.
right. Yeah.
Bob calls his brother. His
Bob
brother
Dylan
calls.
we're talking about.
Yeah, Bob calls his brother. His brother calls Kevin, says, "Can you find a mandolin?" Is that what it was? And Kevin, thinking, anticipating what was going to happen, called up a few other guys. Bob booked a studio in town, and they basically ended up finishing Blood on the Tracks here in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. Actually, a very locally famous studio that was around for years and years. And it took years and years. Bob promised that they would get credit on the album. They didn't. And it took many years before they were actually credited and the world found out about these Minneapolis musicians.
Yeah, but Billy Peterson and all the Peter Ostrusko and all the guys that were on there.
Yeah, Peter. Yeah.
Lonnie Knight, was a great guitar player. We lost him a few years ago, and Lonnie was out of town playing a blues gig on the road. And he got home and they said, "Guess who was at Sound 80 this last week?" And he goes, "Who?" And Bob Dylan. And Lonnie had I think punched a wall or something. It was like, you're kidding me! I missed a Bob Dylan session because that was the house band down there.
For Pete's sake.
Yeah.
You also had an interview with a local guy who I had no idea who he was, and it was fascinating, and I learned so much. And I ran his name by John. Of course, John knows him. Russ Hall, a local guy, steel guitar player who's been around the world a time or two with many big acts. I thought that was a fascinating interview.
And I had known him. Did you know Michael Johnson, Jeff? Because that's how I first
did
knew
meet him.
Russ.
I did meet him, and in fact, the trio that I'm in, Garfunkel, Manilow, and Campbell trio, we're called Sidemen of Note. Tab Lavin is a Wayzata guy, and he played with Michael Johnson back in the day.
Okay, sure.
First Marianne McGregor Marion McGregor, and then Michael Johnson, and then 25 years with Art Garfunkel.
Nice. Damn.
Yeah, but Russ is from Long Lake, or actually from Maple Plain, and he's been with Elton John, Willie Nelson, T-Bone Burnett. I mean, and he's on 8 of 10 hit records, number one records on steel guitar of the records. The 10 songs that had steel guitar that were number one in a particular year, 8 of them were Russ. So,
Did you ever know Raul Malo?
Sadly, I never did. I met Robert Reynolds, who was in the band with him. But, man, I was a big fan of
me too.
Raul Malo.
Yeah.
And what a voice. And, he just... All you ever do is bring me down. I can't do much more than that. But
There's
Joe,
a
the
lot of
one-
news in the news today. No, that didn't make sense.
A lot of news.
There's a lot of news in
We're
the
gonna
world
quote you
today,
on that.
and we have to get to it with Johnny Heidt after this timeout.
Wouldn't you rather talk music?
I would, but there's a lot happening. We can't ignore what's happening in the world.
I got 3. Why? I'm talking about North American Banking Company. 3 accounts at North American Banking Company. Is that a brag? I don't even think that
Humble
that
brag.
is.
Humble
well,
brag.
one of them's a debt consolidation.
Right.
loan,
Which
so-
one is overdrawn? That's the key.
Anyway, they've been investing in your success since 1998, when way back then they decided to create a better banking experience for you, your family, and also your business. And you're going to get that personalized service at North American Banking Company each and every single day. And you get that feeling anytime that you walk into any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, whether it's 50th in France, Woodbury, Hastings, Shoreview, Maple Grove, also in Roseville, by the way. See it for yourself. Check them out online today. It's nabankco.com. bankco.com to learn more. It's banking done differently and the same updated online and mobile banking tools as those other big national banks. So if you're tired of being a number to those big national banks, then make the switch like I did to North American Banking Company, NABankco.com. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender.
Seem to have this unspoken language.
He's on a need-to-know basis.
That's too loud. Here's John Heidt.
Nope.
Thanks, John.
Oh, here's
John, you
Rob.
want to talk about welter heating right now? You can if you'd like to.
Our unspoken language doesn't work that well sometimes.
That's too loud.
Sometimes my ears are turned off. Here's the deal. We had a nice cold spell, and I'm glad that your heating unit made it through, whether it's forced air, boilers, whatever the case may be. Make sure that you have Welter Heating on your list. WelterHeating.com. For over, 120 years, 4 generations serving the Twin Cities metropolitan area. Rick now is in charge, and the whole family actually has their hands in it, and they do a fantastic job. Yeah, there's probably some rough Thanksgivings or some Christmas days where they're not always in sync, but when they're at work, they are, and they are a great family, and they will help you if you have any heating hiccups, or this spring, if you want to get that cooling unit all set for the 85-degree and humid temperatures. Air purification system, yep, they work with those as well. Certified techs come out to your home. You can request a quote online at welterheating.com. A human being answers the phone. That's important during business hours. 612-825-6867. This winter, when it gets a little chilly, heat up your shelter with the fine folks from Ray N. Welter.
It's that time of the season when the football games really matter and you can get in all the action with Underdog. It's so easy to play on Underdog. All you have to do is pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like receptions, rushing yards, touchdowns, and much more. You get your picks right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at some running backs to go higher on touchdowns. That would be maybe Josh Jacobs of the Packers or whichever Lions running back sounds good. They're both doing great, scoring a lot. It could be Gibbs or Montgomery. Download the app today and use promo code GARAGE to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code GARAGE. Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Here's John Heidt.
Thank you, Joe. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company. The first results of KSTP's exclusive Survey USA poll on fraud in Minnesota have been released. The survey asked, do you think fraud in state programs is the biggest problem in Minnesota?
Yes.
79% agree with you, Joe. They say it's either the biggest problem or a major problem. Another question asked was, has Governor Tim Walz done enough to stop fraud in Minnesota?
No.
Well, again, they agree with you. 14% say he has done enough. Another
What's wrong with those people, I wonder?
Another 69% says he does need to do more. As you'll notice, these totals are not equaling 100. Yes, there are lots of people saying, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm just not
I have
sure.
no opinion. I don't know.
Who's no opinion?
Yeah.
Right.
The survey also asked if they think the legislature has done enough. 11% say
No.
yes. Yeah, again, they agree with you, Joe. 11% say yes. 74% say the legislature needs to do more.
How many said, I'm not sure?
Well, 74 and 11 is 85, so 15%.
15% said, I don't know.
Or maybe they said, just about right.
Yeah, just about right.
According to the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has arrested over 400 undocumented immigrants in Minnesota since it began Operation Metro Surge in Minnesota. The operation is an effort by Homeland Security to arrest undocumented immigrants who they said had previous criminal convictions in the U.S. In the same press release in which Assistant Secretary McLaughlin gave her statements were the worst of the worst arrests, she said, made in Minnesota. Most of the charges against the 10 worst were forms of sexual crimes. 4 of the 10 came from Laos. Others came from Mexico, Ecuador. One listed by the DHS as coming from Burma, that country now formally named Myanmar, and one from Somalia.
Any from Anguilla?
None
No.
from Anguilla.
No.
Okay.
13-year-old student, 13 years old, in Moorhead, arrested after police say he brought about 1,500 pills suspected of containing fentanyl to school. The Moorhead Police Department said that just before 12 p.m. Friday, a student at Horizon Middle School reported to staff that another student had a large number of blue pills. School staff detained the student and the pills were safely secured. Police say that about 1,500 pills were in the 13-year-old's possession. Testing by the Moorhead Police Department Narcotics Unit revealed the pills were suspected to be fentanyl-laced counterfeit M30 pills. The child was arrested for first-degree possession of a controlled substance, was brought to the West Central Juvenile Detention Center.
Was his intent to sell or just to be braggadocious? Or we don't
Did
know?
not say.
Okay.
Yeah. A man found dead after a shooting outside Stewartville High School on Friday morning was a former student at the district who had wrestled at the school. At around 5 a.m. Friday, the 18 was shot and critically injured in the school parking lot as the wrestling team waited on a bus to go to a meet. A man was also found dead in the parking lot, according to the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office. Olmsted County Sheriff Kevin Torgerson said this morning that 19-year-old Logan Moyer was the person found dead in the parking lot. The sheriff added that early indications are Moyer died by suicide. Torgerson also confirmed that the teenage victim remains hospitalized in critical but stable condition. Investigators are still working, they say, to determine the relationship between the victim and Moyer, but there does appear to be a connection to the wrestling program, according to the sheriff. However, Torgerson emphasized that Moyer was not a coach, volunteer, or anything else with the wrestling program at this time. Students and staff at Stewartville Public Schools returning to class today for the first time since the shooting. Extra support is there and available. The district, located roughly 10 miles south of Rochester, opened late to ease students back and allow staff to meet with principals and counseling staff. We're going to take a short break here before we get to some national, international stuff, but I want to remind you about my friends at Aura Frames. Christmas is tough. You know why? You don't know what to buy for stuff for people, right? Well, what are you going to get them? It might be a spouse, sibling, friend. They'll all love Aura Frames. It's A-U-R-A. Our household got one 3 months ago. It's filled with pictures and videos that we had on our phones. We have about up to 800 pictures, different pictures right now on the screens. And the nice thing about it is I've had frames in the past like this. The pictures were a little grainy and didn't look so great. Well, these are crystal clear print quality photos and videos on your screen. And yes, there's also sound on the videos. And it's real easy to use. You just download the Aura app, connect it to your Wi-Fi, then start adding your pictures and videos. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling carver mat frames. It's been named #1 by Wirecutter. All you have to do is use the promo code at GL at checkout. I got a question over the weekend from a GLer named Mark. He said, I'm using Garage Logic and that doesn't work. Don't use Garage Logic. Use GL, just the 2 letters. That's Aura Frames, AURA frames.com, promo code GL. The deal is exclusive to listeners. Frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays.
Sales are burning up right now.
Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. That's Aura Frames.
Frames, okay.
Safe to say that we are nuts. And we are nuts, mn.com. Handmade right here in the great state of Minnesota. A wonderful family-owned operation. I got to tell you, I was making some travels, and you know what helped me?
I don't.
The cinnamon toffee peanuts. Jeff, you're in town. You know what I'm going to get you? The cashews. When you're on the road, what do you want?
Why don't you ask him what he likes?
Oh, I love cashews.
Yeah, you too.
Cashews, maple bourbon toffee almonds.
Ooh.
We also have the Hokey Pokey popcorn, which is fantastic. The fellas here in studio gave you wolf down the entire caramel apple popcorn that was there as well. Yeah, I am. I'm going to wind it up, and I'm going to tell you all about We Are Nuts and WeAreNutsMN.com. You're entertaining this time of the year, so get yourself the best snacks that Minnesota has to offer with a wonderful family-owned operation. Lunds and Barley's, Kowalski's, Fredoloni's, Cub Foods, Quick Trip, and also now available at Cub Foods. Did I already mention Cub Foods? Doesn't matter. Go to WeAreNutsMN.com, place your order, and let them know that you heard about them here on the Garage Logic Podcast.
Thanks, Chris. In national and international news, a gunman who targeted students at Brown University Saturday remains at large after authorities said they would release the person of interest that they had from custody. The gunman, who is yet to be publicly identified, killed 2 people, wounded 9 others. One of the wounded victims in critical condition as of this morning. It happened at about 4 o'clock Eastern time. A masked gunman entered the university's engineering building and opened fire on people in the hallway. He then entered the first floor lecture hall where a group of about 60 students was wrapping up an economic study session. Some students managed to escape through the room's side doors. Many more were shot while hiding under desks. Law enforcement officials say the attacker fired more than 40 rounds from a 9mm handgun before fleeing. The introductory class, Principles of Economics, has 475 registered students, of whom about 80% are freshmen.
I didn't know Brown was in Providence, Rhode Island.
It's funny, my wife said the same thing. I knew it was out east. I didn't know it was in Providence.
It sounds like it's not a failed academy. It sounds like you have to really study there as opposed to get a degree in gender studies.
Right.
2 gunmen, a father and his son, attacked a Hanukkah event in Sydney, Australia yesterday, killing at least 15 people, wounding dozens more. 1 gunman was killed while the other is in custody. Authorities called the shooting a terrorist attack on Australia's Jewish community. It took place shortly before 6:45 p.m. local time at Bondi Beach, Australia's most popular beach, where hundreds had gathered to celebrate the first night of Hanukkah. Witnesses say the 2 attackers emerged from behind a small silver hatchback parked by a footbridge and opened fire on the crowd. A bystander was recorded tackling one of the gunmen and wresting a rifle from his hands. Improvised explosive devices were later found in one of the suspect's car. The bystander who tackled one of the gunmen is being hailed as a hero. He was injured, according to Australian officials. They identified him as Ahmed El Ahmed. El Ahmed is an Australian citizen who immigrated from Syria in 2006 and owns a fruit shop. His parents said that El Ahmed had been having coffee with a friend near the beach when he heard the gunshots. He ran toward the shooting. He tackled one gunman, took away his rifle. After that happened, the other gunman fired at El Ahmed. That caused his injuries as he was hit several times.
El Ahmed could have shot the shooter,
right,
and did not.
Is he going to survive?
Yes.
Yeah, he was actually talking to, I think, the mayor of the area in a clip I saw.
Early reports indicate not a stalwart performance by the police department, but on this story, you need your 72-hour rule.
Definitely. Yeah.
2 U.S. soldiers and 1 civilian U.S. interpreter killed in Syria on Saturday after they were ambushed by a likely ISIS gunman. The gunman was killed by partner forces during a skirmish, according to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. 3 other service members were injured during the incident in Syria, Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell said. 2 U.S. officials told ABC News the wounded were American. A person familiar with the shooting said early indications are the shooter had at one point been affiliated with the Syrian security forces but was not currently active. The shooter attacked the U.S. and Syrian personnel from a distance at an adjacent building and was not part of the meeting that was taking place. In a post on X, U.S. Central Command described the shooter as a lone ISIS gunman. The son of famed director Rob Reiner is in custody of the L.A. County Sheriff's Department after Reiner and his wife Michelle Singer were found dead in their L.A. home yesterday. 32-year-old Nick Reiner being held on $4 million bail after being booked on a felony charge early this morning. Director Reiner and his wife Michelle Singer were found dead in the home in the afternoon, according to a statement from their family. Reiner, the son of comedy legend Carl Reiner, first became known for playing son-in-law Michael Stivic on All in the Family. He went on to become one of Hollywood's top directors with a string of hits that included The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Stand By Me, This Is Spinal Tap, A Few Good Men, Misery, and more. After that string of hits, he turned his attention to smaller independent films, saying Hollywood had abandoned storytelling for big-budget films. Tributes to Reiner for his work in the entertainment field and his generous spirit with aspiring actors and directors poured in from friends in the business like Ron Howard, Christopher Guest, and his wife Jamie Lee Curtis, director Paul Feig, Paul McCartney, Eric Idle, Ben Stiller, Elijah Wood, and many, many more.
What is it? Is this something? On Friday night, I watched Spinal Tap.
Mm-hmm. The new one or the
no, the original. One. Mm-hmm. Is that something where I watch Rob Reiner and then 2 days later he's gone?
I don't think you had anything to do with it.
That's nothing. No. And my other thing for you, John, is Rob recently did a podcast. I think it was 6 or 7 episodes about JFK and Dealey Plaza that I thought was fascinating and a very well done podcast.
I listened to 2 or 3 episodes. I did not hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
A Duluth hunter has been charged with illegally taking a moose, which he told officers he thought was a deer.
No.
Doesn't work, does it?
Well, let John finish, and I think you'll understand the problem.
No, I'm already out.
But I think there's an explanation.
The Duluth man faces a gross misdemeanor charge after allegedly shooting the animal November 8th, the opening day of the firearms deer season, just north of Cotton. Minnesota has not had a moose season since 2012, as the once thriving population began a rapid decline about 20 years ago. This incident reported to the Department of Natural Resources shortly after 9 in the morning, according to the criminal complaint. Conservation officers Shane Zavodnik and Jake Peterson responded, met the man and his hunting party at their camp in the Melroot area. The man allegedly said he was in his stand when he saw what he thought was deer antlers and shot the animal. He fired again, causing it to fall. Officers learned he had sent a message to another member of his group stating, quote, "I bleeped up and shot a moose." The hunter said his stand faces east and that the trees and glare from the sun made it hard to see, but he thought he was shooting at a 6-point white-tailed deer. The moose was found approximately 110 yards away from the stand. Both officers reported the man's eyes were bloodshot and watery and that he smelled of alcohol. He allegedly acknowledged drinking beer the previous night, and a preliminary breath test showed a blood alcohol concentration of 0.10, which is higher than the legal limit for driving. The officers seized the man's rifle, and the moose was turned over to the 1854 Treaty Authority, which manages off-reservation tribal hunting rights in northeastern Minnesota. State law sets restitution for the illegal taking of a moose at $1,000. The charge itself carries a fine of up to $3,000. He was issued a summons to appear in state district court in Virginia on February 20th.
I hope somebody gets to eat the moose.
A lot of times that gets donated to food shelves. So, yeah, there's a 100% chance that happened. Yeah. He turned himself in, right? He's the one that called the DNR?
Yeah, that's why I understood.
So if he wouldn't have been drunk, he probably would have been just given a small fine and sent home. Let's turn to Gabe and Matthew. You both took the firearms training class together. One of you can answer this question. What is one of the first, I'm going to say, top 3 things, the rules that you should know when handling a firearm?
Don't be S-faced. Finish all your beer so there's no evidence.
Gabe?
Know what you're shooting.
And what's beyond.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
I went for the combat. I would have said that. I would have said that right away.
Thank you, Gabe.
Yeah.
Here, when Johnny was reading the story, all I kept thinking was, I didn't know it was my ex-wife. I thought it was a deer.
Well, moose are pretty big, in case you didn't know that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gosh, thanks, Joe. I didn't know.
My grandfather, when he was at the restaurant, they said, "Mr. Dayton, would you like some dessert?" And he said, "What do you have?" He said, "Well, we have ice cream and chocolate cake, and we have moose." He goes, "Moose? I told my wife she was my deer, not my moose." And with that, I leave.
Okay.
That's terrible, Jeff. That's just terrible.
Yeah, Jeff, based upon the things that are happening here in the studio, would Joe make a good floor director when he hears something that's a little bit out of sequence? That's too loud.
Well, the music is too loud, and you can't hear these things.
He could be an engineer or a producer, right?
Kind of
Work in
ranks
a studio.
It ranks right up there with a restaurant I was playing at up here one time, and I'm on a little stool. It's a pretty non-big gig, you know, and right by where people come and go, and they bump you when they're coming in, try to get a table, I'm just getting started, and this lady goes, "Turn it down. We can't hear the hockey."
Yeah.
That's tough. That's a tough
right.
Oh, yeah. I knew I was
Tell me you're in Minnesota without telling me you're in
right. I was here. Yeah, it was down in Burnsville.
Oh, that's a tough room.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for
you
that.
know, though, hey, what the heck?
Chris knows this place. I used to play at a brewery, which it was a great gig, actually, and I love the people that ran it, but they were big fans of the Auburn football team.
Oh, yeah.
So when we were scheduled to play on Saturday nights, they wouldn't let us start if Auburn was playing, so we would have to sit and twiddle our thumbs and wait for the Auburn game to get over.
Don't mess with football.
That's right.
Yeah, down in the South, man, you got to have your SEC knowledge, and you got to have a driver, you know. Mm-hmm. Who's your driver? Who's your driver? So I picked Rusty Wallace, blue number 2. He's gone, retired, so no fights over that.
They take their football serious.
Oh, they do. And if you're at a bar down there and somebody wants to hear Rocky Top, then the next guy wants to hear Callin' Baton Rouge, and the next guy wants to hear Sweet Home Alabama, and the next guy wants to hear Seminole Wind, and you are toast from then on. And then it's, oh, man. And then
But nobody's watching hockey.
No,
Okay,
not that. Well, you know, the Preds are a big deal down there.
Yeah.
You know, there's hockey down there, but no, I think SEC and NASCAR rule the roost.
John, are you still motoring?
I can if you'd like me to.
Go
or I
ahead.
can stop. Okay,
One
let's
more.
go.
I think we'll wrap it up.
Let's go with the Air Force incident, the U.S. Southern Command reviewing an incident in which a JetBlue flight and a U.S. Air Force aircraft almost collided in midair near Venezuela on Friday. In a statement, U.S. Southern Command said military air crews are highly trained professionals who operate in accordance with established procedures and applicable airspace requirements. U.S. Southern Command spokesperson Colonel Manny Ortez said the JetBlue flight was traveling from Curacao off the coast of Venezuela to New York City when a pilot spotted the Air Force tanker. U.S. Southern Command operates in the region amid a rise in tensions between Venezuela and the U.S., with the Trump administration conducting strikes on the alleged drug boats in the Caribbean Sea and Eastern Pacific. In a statement, JetBlue said the flight crew promptly reported the incident to leadership. Air traffic control audio documents the moment the JetBlue pilot reported the military aircraft passed about 2 to 5 miles in front of the plane. The pilot said they passed directly in our flight path and we had to stop our climb. Pilot also said the tanker did not have its transponder on. Transponder is an electric device that allows air traffic control to track an aircraft accurately. One way transponders do that is by squawking or sending a code to air traffic control to identify itself and provide information. A squawk code was not used during the incident. There are times when squawk is not used to communicate aircraft information, like during military operations. According to U.S. officials familiar with the incident, the tanker was within approved range of the JetBlue flight, and it's not uncommon for military aircraft to fly with transponders off.
To me, that was a non-story. The JetBlue guy is a bunch of crybabies.
Over the weekend, I read more about the trip Machado made from Caracas to Norway.
Yeah.
I was complaining about the coverage of it when I initially read about it, but it was so full of secrets that I can see that they had to be so careful in writing it. And her smuggling, successful, that was performed by a private company. There are companies, apparently, you can hire to move you, to get you someplace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're staffed by former military people and things like
And
that.
the government uses them, so they have, it's kind of a hands-off. No, it's not our deal, even though they're the ones that hired them.
Jeff Dayton, will you do something for us when we return?
Yes.
We'll be back shortly.
Glad to.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
I'm warning you, GLers. We had Stephen C. and Pat Donahue and Jillian in here. Friday was delightful. We've got Jeff Dayton with us today. I'm afraid tomorrow we're going to have to return to the spoiled world.
Joe, I just realized something earlier in the show. You know, we've been talking about starting our own GL band, but why would we when we have Pat Donahue, Stephen A., Jeff Dayton, John Heidt, Dylan Heidt? All we need is a competent drummer.
Yeah, I'd volunteer to try out.
Like I said, all we need is a competent drummer.
And I said I'd try out.
Just somebody who can keep up with a click track, Joe. Anybody that just owns maybe a snare and a kick and a cymbal, maybe a hi-hat.
Just follow their heartbeat.
Just you know, any old guy would work, Joe.
Try to keep up.
Jeff Dayton,
Blues, riff, and beat.
might very well be calling us later this week from Anguilla. That's not written in stone.
No,
we don't know that yet.
Yeah, got to find out.
But if you are there, we anticipate the call and set it up with Reavers.
Yeah, I'd love to.
What will you do for us right now?
Wait a minute. How about the life of him? Yeah, I might go to Anguilla this week. Here we are trying
Well, it depends on a
Looking
lot
for
of
a
things.
beach.
Well,
Jeff, I might go to Fleet Farm later this week.
Exactly.
I like Fleet Farm. I like that place. Yeah, I might save big money somewhere, you know.
Yeah. What are you going to do for us?
I'll do anything you need.
Kenny requested When It's Cold in Texas?
Yeah, that's the first single right now.
All right.
I've got those Arizona roots, you know. I still, I love my Wrangler days out in Arizona, you know, playing all the stuff we did. And, you know, I had an early break from George Strait. He cut one of my songs.
Really?
On the Fort Worth album, which
You're
was...
kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. I don't kid on here. I mean, I don't... You know, hopefully you get all the real stuff. But that was really a big break. And then, of course, playing with Glenn Campbell was equally as big.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah. But this is the first song on the album. Come on, John, help me out.
He doesn't have his guitar.
Either that or he's playing quiet. When it's cold in Texas, it cuts right through your clothes. The cows crowd together and lovers hold each other close. There's frost on the windows and blankets aren't enough. When it's cold in Texas, that's when I miss your love. There's snow on the hilltop, blankets on it, no warmth in the sun. I shiver with regret for all the foolish things I've done. And there's snow on the hilltops. This is what I was trying to get to. And ice along the coast. When it's cold in Texas, that's when I miss you most. I wish that we were somewhere warm, laughing in the sun, making memories like we used to do, like on Anguilla. Yeah, there's snow on the hilltops. I said that before. And ice along the coast. When it's cold in Texas, that's when I miss you most. Yeah, when it's cold in Texas, that's when I miss you most.
Man, that's good stuff.
Thank you.
Do you like playing with people or by yourself better?
I'm fine either way. I mean, I've learned to get fearless with the guitar. I mean, as a songwriter in Nashville, you probably better resign to the idea that you're going to have to back yourself up.
Yeah.
And so I love doing that. I mean, I love having a great band. I mean, nothing's cooler than when you're cutting a record and you've got the A-list guys like Lonnie Wilson's on my new record. He's on about 125 number one records, you know, and that kind of thing. Mike Johnson's on Steel. Especially on this song, and he's playing all the Zach Top stuff, you know, the records that they've done here lately. And Jimmy Carter is also playing on Zach's stuff, and Russ Paul's on here. He's been, you know, it's a good record. I'm really proud of it. It just released this weekend.
It's called, well, I got to put my glasses on.
That's all right.
It's called Songs from the Walnut Room.
Yes, sir.
And I'm proud to have a copy.
That heartbreaker is a good setup for the question I have for you guys. And there's no wrong answer here. I just want opinions. And it's regarding a couple of Glenn Campbell songs. Which of these two songs, to you personally, is more of a heartbreaker? Wichita Lineman or By the Time I Get to Phoenix? Which one really breaks your heart more?
Wichita Lineman does it for me.
Yeah. I can't play that, can I?
No contest. Wichita Lineman might be one of my, if you put a gun to my head, 20 favorite songs ever.
Why can't you play it?
It's not my music.
It's not his song. No, it's not his song.
Yeah, we wish we could.
But Glenn would give you permission.
No, except it's Jimmy Webb's song.
Yeah, he didn't write it.
Oh, that's right. All right.
Yeah, Glenn did a record of it, but yeah, I know, I understand.
But you have to admit, By the Time I Get to Phoenix, that one, that's a tearjerker, too.
There's another one, too, that Jimmy Webb wrote called If These Old Walls Could Speak.
Yeah.
And that's a classic. That sounds like an AI voice.
What's the one with the sleeping roll rolled up behind the couch?
That is Gentle on My Mind.
Gentle on My Mind.
Yeah. It's knowing that your door is open and your path is free to walk that makes me tend to leave my sleeping bag rolled up and stashed behind your couch.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, John Hartford wrote that.
Yeah.
And boy, what an interesting guy he was. I loved spending time with him. In fact, about, the January of 91, we kicked off the Good Time Tour in Punta Gorda and Sanibel Island and Fort Myers and Naples down there. And
You didn't have any fun.
no, it was terrible. And we had a day off at the Sonesta Sanibel, and I look over at John. We're the last two guys at lunch, and it's potted plants with hanging tropical birds, and it's just the second story veranda kind of restaurant. And I look over, and he's got 2 feet of dental floss hanging out of his mouth. What do you say? And we spent the afternoon, just the two of us, walking the beach, and I got to ask him all those rookie questions about, what did you mean by that song, this song, and how was this? And he was so kind to me, and he had this one thing called Station Break, and it goes like this. Bill Randall, 650 WSM, the Badge-wide Endurance Contest in Bashful Johnny C., home of the Grand Old Conglomeration, Fannie Hill University, and the Bathtub of the South. It's 7:30.
Nice. Wow. Nice.
And I said, what is that thing? And he says, well, I was in a particularly altered state one night. And I was listening to the radio, and that's what I thought I heard.
Wow. Can I put in a request for your podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get Jimmy Webb.
That would be delightful.
You got to get him.
Nobody's ever interviewed him, Lord knows.
What he says and what Glenn Campbell says about that song, Wichita Lineman, and how Jimmy gave it to him, but it wasn't completed, but Glenn finished it anyway.
Actually, Glenn had nothing to do with finishing it. He recorded the rough draft. Jimmy sent over 2 verses. He said, doesn't have a title. I don't even know if this is the right direction, but I've got 2 verses, and there's no chorus yet or anything like that. And he never heard back from Glenn until he ran into him in person about a week later. And because Glenn was in the studio when he called Jimmy, he said, we need another song about a town. Well, anyway, when Glenn told Jimmy that they had recorded it, he just about lost it. And he said, Glenn said, no, it was perfect. And that's the incomplete rough draft. Yeah, so Glenn knew a hit song. And I'll tell you, too, and I probably told you this, Kenny, that, that Glenn worked in the Wrecking Crew for 5 solid years.
Yep.
And they did that all day, every 5 days a week. They would take a demo and they would turn it into a hit song, whatever it needed. Carol Kay was the one who came up with the
beginning bass
because
line.
Glenn said, we were just going to do this, just play rhythm like on Phoenix. And Carol said, no, you got to have something that sounds like flatter than a plate of water, so. And she played that lick. And, Glenn knew what to do with the song. So when Wichita Lineman came to him, he said, this is a great song. And if you think about it, it's got that line that everybody refers to, too, Joe, right? I need you more than want you. And then a double down multiplier factor. And I want you for all time.
And Jimmy said later that that was kind of a mistake. And he wished he would have made something that rhymes with that line, but it was too late because Glenn recorded it.
Jimmy was very particular about rhymes, and he and I had a conversation at Glenn's 60th birthday party, and we were all in Branson, and Jimmy was writing his book called Tunesmith at the time. And he said, I do 3 or 4 pages on yellow legal paper, and I don't rhyme or do anything, but he insists on perfect rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, and the way that rhymes are hidden and then pop up again in the next verse, and it was from the verse before, but it's a perfect match, that's what he would try for. And I'm sure that he would say, yeah, that's pretty close, Jeff.
There's traces of Jimmy Webb in Paul Westerberg's writing. He's another great lyricist. But you got to do like 2 to 3 hours with Jimmy Webb. I'm really craving that.
Well, I'll see if he's got 5 minutes, and then we'll go from there, because he's a busy guy. I've had Carl Jackson on. Carl was the band leader with Glenn before me, and he was part of the birthday retrospective we did last year. Joe, I want to thank you for letting me start Count It Off. I mean, my podcast it's growing by the ones and twos.
Well, because you can get the guess.
I've had some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've had Phil Solem from the Rembrandts, who's a Minneapolis guy. They wrote the theme song for Friends. And, and Chris Lusinger was a recent guest. He's played on every record Garth Brooks ever cut.
Yeah, great guitarist.
And a great guitar player and a great guy. And I've got more to come. And it's fun. I've actually had people calling me. We've got John Schneider lined up for some point at the Dukes of Hazzard. And that'll be fun.
John had a good time with him when he was doing the morning show at KS95.
Really?
Well, it wasn't my idea. I had nothing to do with it. Leave me out of this.
Okay,
we got him very angry with us.
It's always fun when you're here, man. Anytime.
Thank you, Joe.
Do you know that we have people that send us this day in history, which is kind of a corny radio bit, but we do it because these people travel the world and send it for wherever they are.
Like the equator.
They're the traveling Lymans. And listen to this now. They're wrapping up a sea voyage. Saturday morning, we disembarked the cruise ship in Brisbane, Australia, traveled to the Brisbane International Airport, boarded a China airline flight, and flew to Auckland, New Zealand. There's a 19-hour time difference between Minnesota and New Zealand. What date is this? Is this the 15th? Yeah. When it's Monday, 1:30 p.m. in Minnesota, it's Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. in New Zealand.
Wait, so they have the winning Powerball numbers from last night?
They could. So it was on this day.
Joe, today is December 15th.
In 1856, Walter Winchell became the state geographer. No, that wasn't his name, Walter, was it? It was
Walter Winchell.
Newton Horace Winchell.
Newton Horace Winchell, On this day in 1856, a lyceum was organized in St. Paul. Lyceums were cultural centers that sponsored lectures, classes, and other activities. On this day,
Joe, today is 10 days before Christmas, December 15th.
In 1864, 4 Minnesota regiments helped defeat the Confederate Army of General John Bell Hood outside Nashville, Tennessee. Over the course of this 2-day battle, the Minnesota losses, 302 killed, wounded, or missing, were the greatest the state suffered in any Civil War engagement. On this day,
December 15th.
In 1887, the first issue of the Northfield Independent appeared. The newspaper's editor declared that it comes in its own independent way without first having asked to leave to be, but intends to justify its being by filling a vacant journalistic place in this city and the surrounding country. It will labor that the homes it is permitted to enter may be brighter and purer for its coming, their burdens lightened, if possible, their industries ennobled.
I have had my name in the Northfield Independent newspaper.
That's quite a big deal for a small town paper, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It'll lighten the world.
Great.
On this day,
Joe, today is December 15th.
In 1892, J. Paul Getty was born in Minneapolis. An entrepreneur, he became a billionaire in the oil business, and he bequeathed much of his fortune to the Getty Trust, a philanthropic organization that supported the visual arts. And on this day in sports disappointment history,
who'd we lose to?
On this day,
December 15th,
1978, the Minnesota Phillies played their first game. Is that basketball? Yes. And lost to the Cornets, 103-81. I have no idea what that refers to.
Sure.
None. Zero. Who were the Phillies?
They were an American women's professional basketball team in the Women's Professional League from 78 to 81.
Who were the Cornets? What town were they?
The Phillies must have been Fill.
You are correct.
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, they lost their first ever game.
Before we let you go, Mr. Jeff Dayton,
Yes.
website information, where can we find that podcast and upcoming tour information, sir?
Okay, the website is jeffdaytonmusic.com, and your listeners are wonderful. I met a couple people Saturday morning. You're Jeff Dayton, the singer? You're on Garage Logic. You sound so much younger on the air. Thanks. Like,
Was this at a place in St. Paul?
no, this was
a Minneapolis
this
place?
over this way. Yeah.
All right.
But they're loyal GLers.
Good.
And I got cornered by a lady last night. Tell Joe, I said, you tell him. Tell Rookie. I said, you tell Rookie.
You tell him.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I say. Jim.
Oh my
I
gosh.
do not deliver messages.
Yeah, it's like if I had a nickel for every. Tell old Glenn, you get a lot of that.
Yeah.
I'm on YouTube, Jeff Dayton Music. The podcast is called Count It Off, and it drops a new episode every Tuesday morning, early in the morning. And I hope you'll check it out. There's a wonderful interview with Joe Souchere on there. Very short one, but a fun one that we did last summer.
Is he as impatient as a guest as he is as the host of the
I
show?
would say that he's more patient than you might be.
Really?
Yeah. Because
I'm proud of you.
he has that age wisdom, that wonderful quality
Look
of.
at him. Yeah.
He's going to summarize it in a minute. Let him get to it.
That's right.
Yeah. So but that's.
Hurry up and get to the question.
And Instagram is Jeff.Dayton on Instagram. And
Turn it down.
I can't hear the hockey.
Jeff, you're the best, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I hope to be island.
We'll know
island
later
happy.
this week.
I'll let you know.
I may or may not be in Anguilla. I'll let you know.
Let me know.
I'll wear
Thank
my
you.
T-shirt though, and I will be on video just for that.
Thank you, GL.
You're the best, Jeff. Please do us a favor. If you have not done so already, and hit that subscribe button on the Garage Logic YouTube channel, because on that YouTube channel, you can watch the show each and every single day, starting right around noon. You can also see full segments, video shorts, behind-the-scenes footage. It's all there for you. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube, along with all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and X. And also sign up for the Daily Logician. That's an email that comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Find out more and sign up today at garagelogic.com.